Hey everybody, my name is Vinny with Florida Landscape Professionals, and we are trying to solve some issues that we've had throughout the Alexander Ridge community with the irrigation. And what I want to do is do an informative video to explain to everybody how the irrigation systems are failing and why they're being damaged by mowers. So what happens is the sprinkler heads stay popped up because their seals inside the sprinkler head aren't working properly. The sprinkler head is functioning correctly. It's actually spraying. It's not really broadcasting water correctly because it doesn't come up over the grass, but it is working. The problem is that we need to switch them out from a 4-inch sprinkler head to a 6-inch sprinkler head so that the stem of the sprinkler head broadcasts over the grass. If you look right here, this is a sprinkler head that we just came to. The irrigation system ran last night and it's in the stuck up position. So what happens is that this is only 4 days of growth with the grass. So after another 3 days when we mow, the problem is that the guys are cutting the sprinkler heads off because they can't see that they're stuck up. The sprinkler head is supposed to go back down in the ground, and it's not doing that on its own. So that is the reason why the sprinkler heads are malfunctioning and they need to be replaced. And this is not included in the agreement that Florida Landscape Professionals has with Alexander Ridge. So throughout the community in Alexander Ridge, we're facing some problems with faulty irrigation. Most people are aware of this, but some people aren't. And what I'm trying to do is explain to everybody that the irrigation systems are failing. The sprinkler heads in the ground throughout the community that were originally installed by Lennar are failing. The sprinkler heads aren't retracting back in the ground and like they're supposed to after this zone runs. And our team is damaging them with equipment because the sprinkler head doesn't retract like it's designed. So the irrigation ran last night on this property that I'm at now, and if you look right here, there's a sprinkler head that is stuck in the up position. And this sprinkler head is supposed to go back down on the ground. That way it's safe from our equipment. And what happens is it's very difficult when you're mowing to see that this sprinkler head is like that and the mowers are breaking them off because the sprinkler head's not working right. This is something that is above and beyond normal routine maintenance, and it's because of a faulty sprinkler head and they need to be upgraded, and there's an additional charge for us to do that throughout the community. We can schedule a time to come out to your property and come up with a plan to do these upgrades to your property. Consistently throughout the community as we're doing upgrades, we're being able to eliminate heads that aren't needed. We're able to use lower gallonage nozzles, and we're saving homeowners money on their water bills, which will eventually pay for the upgrades. So it's not something that you have an initial cost, but then it's going to pay for itself over time as the water bill is decreased. So this is a hole that's dug with a 4-inch sprinkler head that's in the ground. And what you have to do to switch these out is dig the hole much deeper. And then you take the old sprinkler head off of the street L that's here. As you can see, this sprinkler head is a lot smaller than this sprinkler head. So what we do is we screw the new sprinkler head on. Like this, and the sprinkler head goes much lower into the ground. So now the important thing to remember is that this sprinkler head is at the dirt level, not at the grass level, at the dirt level. So then when the sprinkler head pops up, it's over top of the grass, and when the sprinkler head is low in the ground like this, mowers can run over it, people walking can step on it, a car can drive over it, and the sprinkler head doesn't break off because the dirt around it absorbs the pressure. So this is what we want to see when a sprinkler head is properly replaced. So here's the level of the sidewalk. The sprinkler head should be approximately even with it or a little bit lower. That's what we want. That way when a mower comes along, it can drive over top of it and it doesn't break it off. So what happened here is I dug this hole up. You always want to, when you do a repair like this, you want to make sure that it's a lot deeper than you need to be. This pipe is supposed to be flex pipe, but it's hard pipe. So what we're going to do to modify this is we come in here and we cut this off. like this and clean it off. Let the water drain a little bit. Then what we're going to do is get a piece of flexible pipe right here. I'm going to cut about a little bit more than a foot off of it. Then what I do is I take my glue. I glue one side of it, the other side of my fitting, like this. I assemble them together like that. Make sure that your fitting is tight down into your sprinkler. Okay. Then what we're going to do is take our coupling, glue one side of it, and then the other side of it to our flexible pipe. Put it together like this. This one down here, since we cut it, we're going to use a little bit of cleaner. We clean it. I got a little root in my way. I'll move that out of the way. Then what I'm going to do is take some glue. I glue this. This particular glue works if it's wet or if it's dry. The glue works in both conditions, wet and dry conditions. Then what we're going to do is glue this pipe on like this. And now we can flex the head where we want it and make sure that it is installed right at the grade level of the sidewalk. We're changing some 4-inch sprinkler heads to 6-inch sprinkler heads. And the reason why we're doing that is because we want to get better effective water coverage over the area, because the grass is at least 4 inches thick. And when the sprinkler head pops up, it doesn't really clear the top of the grass, and it doesn't water properly. So the difference between the two is tremendous. So I'm going to show everybody today on how to properly install a sprinkler head. We ran into a situation out here where typically an industry standard when you do irrigation is to have a hard pipe that brings the water from the valve, and then off that is a flexible pipe that goes to the sprinkler head. Well, this particular job does not have the flexible pipe. The reason why you use the flexible pipe is because it gives the sprinkler a cushion if something was to run over top of it. It also allows some adjustment. So when the sprinkler head's in the ground, you can pull the flex pipe up and down and position it where you want it and repack the dirt. But if you look right here, this is an old sprinkler head that we have a lot of this out here where people have added these extensions on the bottom. And what happens is if it gets ran over by a mower, these extensions break right off. So we're gonna take this part real quick. This sprinkler head is it's not a terrible sprinkler head if you see these out here, but they're small. So it's still, they don't pop up high enough over the grass. So we're putting this sprinkler head in, which pops way higher up throughout the community. So this here needs to be removed. We're gonna take this extension out, and then we need to add some fittings to this to modify it. So this particular repair is kind of easy. There's a couple different ways you can do it. You can cut the pipe off and add the flexible pipe there, but you have to dig a bigger hole. Or you can take one of these, it's a female adapter. So what you could do is just screw it on here like this. Make sure you tighten it up good, like that. Then what we'll do is we take our glue our flex pipe into our fitting. And this one here, you have to leave it kind of long because we're gonna flex down and back up. So I'm gonna leave this flex pipe about 2 foot long. It'll give it some extra cushion if anything ran over top of it, and it will make the sprinkler perform better because we'll be able to adjust it. So the other side of the flex pipe, we're gonna glue the fitting that goes into the sprinkler. I always apply glue to both sides of the pipe, put it together like this here. Then what we do is we take our new sprinkler head and screw it onto it. After you press these together, flex pipe and the white pipe will bond pretty quickly, but you don't want to pull on it for about 5 minutes or so. So then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to flex this down in this opening. And then the sprinkler head, if you could see how nice the cushion is and everything with it, it can move a little bit. I'm gonna keep it about 3 to 4 inches off the curb and about flush with the concrete. Then what I do when I get it where I want it, I backfill it with the dirt. Pack it down real good. And then we can put our sod back. Now this sprinkler head has got a really strong spring in it, and it will pop right through the grass. It's designed for that. You actually want to leave the grass growing tight to the sprinkler head because that makes the sprinkler even more stable. And when the proper sprinkler heads are installed, you don't have to have the grass removed around the sprinkler head. Hey guys, it's Vinny again, and we are doing an irrigation modification to a property out here in Alexander Ridge. And this is what it takes to properly modify the irrigation. What we're doing is going and digging all the heads up, exposing all the problems that we've got, and then we go back and have one of the crews switch the sprinkler heads out to the correct ones, and then we change all the nozzles to make sure that the precipitation rate is correct and that the irrigation is covering perfect. This particular area right here is from the builder, and where that purple flag is right here, there should be a sprinkler head. So we have to come off of the old system and put a pipe there and add a sprinkler head. That's why those brown spots are right here.